Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am diving into the very popular world of hockey romance. This is an extremely popular trend on Book Talk. It's kind of a subgenre of smut and romance fiction that has really taken off. I think more broadly, there are a lot of romance stories that happen in like a sports world, whether it be NFL or baseball or National Hockey League. I think in particular, something about like the big men in hockey has really like struck a nerve and become like a huge sensation over the past few years. And I just finished reading a really heavy book for book club. We read Blood Meridien by Cormac McCarthy, which I don't really recommend. I don't think I'm going to talk about it on my channel. I think there are many other authors that you could check out their work instead. But to kind of recover from the very heavy subject matter in that novel, I have read I've read four romance novels in the past like 2 weeks. One of them, I actually went to the library to finish Blood Meridien, and it's almost like I had an out-of-body experience. Without having control over myself, reached for a romance book like off the shelf. Like I had my Kindle with me to read Blood Meridien, but I didn't even pull it out of my backpack. I like sat down and then there was like a romance novel near me and I just like picked it up and I was thinking like in my mind, like I'll just read 10 pages, but then I sat there for 2 hours and finished the whole book. So anyway, I'm going to talk about Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reid, which is blowing up right now. It is blowing up for two reasons. One, there is a live action version of it. It's been made into a show. And besides the idea of You and maybe one or two other novels being turned into mainstream feature films, this is definitely the first time that I know of that there has been a series made based on kind of like a smut series. But I haven't seen it yet. I might watch it tonight. So I saw that this very popular meme maker and kind of like social media influencer, tastemaker, Evan Ross Katz, had started making memes for the TV show that was made based on Heated Rivalry. And I was kind of like, what? I have read so much romance, but I haven't heard of this book. So that's what caused me to read Heated Rivalry. And then I also read the kind of sequel or like the follow-up to Heated Rivalry, which is The Long Game. So basically, Rachel Reid is this Canadian author who writes male-to-male romances. All of her books are about gay couples. And the first, called Game Changer, I actually started that this week. It's okay. It's nowhere as good as Heated Rivalry, but there's 6 novels, I believe, in the series now. And book 2, which is Heated Rivalry, and then maybe book like 5 or 6 is The Long Game. And each of the books follows like a blossoming, unfolding romance between a hockey player and either another hockey player, like in Heated Rivalry, or not, like someone else. And the themes are, okay, honestly, like there's not really themes. It's just like a lot of really spicy content. But I will just go through quickly my thoughts. I feel like if you're already into this kind of stuff, you'll already know about these books. And if you're not into this kind of stuff, then maybe just watch my next video, because this is really, I mean, I think it serves a very important role. And like, romance novels are not by definition silly or like should not be valued less just because women read them and just because they have a lot of sex in them. But if that's not the kind of reading you do, then maybe just watch my next video. But for those of you that are into this stuff, I highly recommend Heated Rivalry, with one caveat. I would say like 85% of the book is spicy. It is so much smut. Like really, that is like the whole reason I feel like the book exists. But having said that, the premise is a really compelling one. So it follows this couple the couple is made up of Shane Hollander and Ilya Roznikov, who is like a Russian recruit for a an American hockey team, and then Shane Hollander plays for a Montreal-based hockey team, and he's fluent in French, which is also a fun fact. And he's also mixed race Asian. His mother is Japanese. But I will say the combination of this enemies to lovers, they're basically, since their rookie year, they have been described by the media and by the whole like PR machine that's behind the NHL as these big rivals. And Ilya is kind of a jerk. And so since they're like 18 years old, the media has painted them as huge rivals. But secretly on the side, they're hooking up and then they fall in love. And the book follows their relationship from when they're 18 until like 10 years later. So I really love enemies to lovers as a trope. I think I've mentioned that a few times on my channel. I also thought that the characters were pretty well rounded. Like, we get into Ilya's journey a little bit with his mother passing away, and then Shane also feeling like a lot of the pressure of being gay but not being sure if he can come out, and also like, I don't know, just being the captain. They're both captains of their respective teams. And I also thought the relationship between Shane and his parents was like a nice addition. But do not be fooled. The book is like 80% sex. But I guess I have to say the sex scenes are written really well. It's definitely like purely to fill that niche and to be, entertaining. And I feel like, people read books full of violence. People read books full of like, I don't know, crazy, weird sci-fi stuff. Like, why not also this part of our lives, which is so important? Like, everyone believes in love and everyone cares about love and everyone cares about romance. So yeah, I don't think we should like devalue these types of books at all. So I absolutely love Heated Rivalry, even though it was like mostly just sex the whole book. Then The Long Game, I thought was really nice to just kind of see the second half of the relationship between Shane and Ilya. It's definitely way more plot. It's about how they navigate when they're each going to come out and whether they're going to announce it. And I thought it was nice to see them like more grown up, more mature, but still very much in love. I also thought the side characters were, passable, like pretty decent. Definitely not as good as Heated Rivalry, but definitely still worth the read in my opinion. Then, like I mentioned, I was thinking, okay, should I give the first book in this series a shot since, like I did really like Heated Rivalry, maybe I'll like the first book. But it's not my cup of tea. It's very boring. I feel like there's not enough characterization of each of the members of the couple. It's called Game Changer. That one came out in 2018. Heated Rivalry came out in 2019. Game Changer is about yet another captain of a hockey team. I'm pretty sure he's the captain. Scott, oh, what's his last name? I already forgot. But basically, because it's the first book in the series, he does come out eventually, and he kind of like paves the way for Shane and Ilya in The Long Game. I do kind of like the crossover of characters amongst the books. I've read other romance series where it's like very forced. Like you can kind of feel like characters are being introduced because the author's about to like write another spin-off novel about their love story. Whereas I feel like in this series, it's less obvious and it's more just kind of random characters that are there for their own purpose, not just to have like further books written about them. Yeah, so those are my thoughts. I am very excited to check out the TV series, although I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe I'll watch it like on Christmas break or something. It feels very indulgent to like read these salacious books and then also watch the salacious TV show. I'm gonna put some of the memes that Evan put on Instagram. I hope I don't get copyrights. I hope I don't get in trouble, but I think it should be okay. Oh, Google says he's an actor. I really just know him as a meme maker and someone who's obsessed with social media. And of course he has a podcast. Yeah. So then I will briefly touch on the book that I randomly picked off the shelf in the library in Central Public Library in downtown Singapore. It was called Love, Lies, and Cherry Pie, a novel by Jackie Lau. And I liked it enough to keep reading it. I mean, it was either that or Blood Meridien, so it wasn't really that much of a competition. But I really liked that both characters were Asian Canadian. You know what? This book was also taking place in Canada. And I really prefer that. I think that's maybe why I don't like Game Changer. Like, I'm in a period where I'm like, I've had enough of the US. Like, I really enjoy reading things that are set in Canada. So I just realized that. But I also like that both of the main characters are Asian Canadian, and the main female character, I already forgot her name, is really struggling with being the only unmarried sister in her family, and her mom is really annoying and tries to set her up with this other guy, but it turns out that even though it's been so annoying and really intrusive, she does really like the guy, and her mom actually had like very good intentions. The main female protagonist is also a writer, and she realizes that her parents really support her writing journey and her book, and the whole like intrusive matchmaking was really because they love her so much. So I thought it was very refreshing to read about two characters that come from a more like conservative Asian Canadian background, and like how have like that romance, because most of the romance that you read, and honestly, for sure, for the last 25 years, like very traditional airport romances have always been white characters. And that's fine, but that's just obviously only one reality, and the reality for other people can be very, very different. So I found it very refreshing to read about different types of characters. But then I kind of made the mistake of reading another book by Jackie Lau. I also read The Stand-Up Groomsman. That one came out in 2022, so 2 years before Love, Lies, and Cherry Pie. It was really bad. I'm sorry. The writing was like very stiff, and the characterization was pretty poor. I mean, I trucked through it just to like support Jamie or Jackie, just to support Jackie Lau. Also, Asian Canadian characters who were, yeah, and not like stereotypical ones. Like, I feel like all of her characters are kind of from different backgrounds, have different personalities, but the writing was pretty poor. So I don't know if I was just in a different headspace when I read Love, Lies, and Cherry Pie, or if her writing improved in that 2 years. She has another one that came out this year, Time Loops and Meet Cutes, but I'm not going to read it because I really hate that trope. It's the trope of like living the same day over and over. Not for me. I really don't like that trope. So that is my little foray into TikTok romance. I love it. It's my guilty pleasure. I don't really make many videos about it, but I do pride myself on having read the wide, range of what's out there. And especially if something's going to break into the mainstream, best believe I'm going to read it so that I can be fully across it and in the know. And I'm really glad I did. And I think it's really cool that like this kind of very, women as the audience, very female-oriented genre is breaking. Well, so that's the interesting thing, is even though it's male-to-male romance, I do think beyond the LGBTQ community, the main consumer of these books are straight women. Obviously, sexuality is a spectrum, and it's like not that clear-cut, but just in general, yeah, this genre is very much for women, which I think is really special and like really important. And if it's going to break into the mainstream, I definitely want to have read it and know what everyone is talking about. So if you watch this video, now you also know a bit more about what a very niche subset of the Instagram world and social media influence sphere is talking about. I really thought it was fun to read Heated Rivalry. It is my favorite trope. I love enemies to lovers. And yeah, there's like a little bit of hockey in there. I can tell that the author knows a lot about hockey. I mean, I'm American, dude, so I don't know anything about hockey, but it was mostly just sex, but it was nice to have like some of the sport thrown in there. And Yuna, which is Shane's Japanese Canadian mother, is like really into hockey and really supportive of their relationship. And so there's no conflict in the book, which maybe other people will complain about, because normally you do need to have like some sort of conflict. I guess the main premise is that they're really struggling with hating each other but also loving each other, but there's never really anything in the book that happens that is like a big external conflict. So I thought that was like kind of nice. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. We're just keeping tabs on the zeitgeist, what's hot on TikTok, what's hot on Instagram, and I will catch you guys in the next video.